I'm Veruscawalker and welcome to my channel. A couple of months ago I got invited by Paul Bradford from Cake Flix to share with his followers my structure and my guitar cake. And he asked me I wanted something for Halloween. So now I wanted to share with you. There's a lot of tips and tricks in this video. I really hope you enjoy that. Please don't forget to follow, leave your feedback, press the bell so you get notified first when I release a new video. Enjoy the video and happy Halloween! If you want more information about cake structures, you must head to my website and purchase my book. Alright, first thing we need is a picture of your guitar. So it can be any size, any shape, and in fact I found some really cool shapes in here. And you can modify the size to your needs. Then, of course, you're gonna need a piece of foam core, a 5mm foam core or foam board. You can buy this in any craft supplier, art supplier, even news agents around here in Australia sell any color too, as long as it's 5mm. And it's a very compressed foam, but super easy to cut it. Then we have to trace our picture twice. I prefer to trace just one, and then I roughly cut around the guitar, and then I put one board on top of the other and cut two boards at the same time. But you can cut, if you find it easier to cut one by one, you can take your time. I just prefer to cut them together so they are exactly the same in size, the same in match. So you just have to make sure that you have a really sharp stainless knife, and then it will slide like butter. It's super easy to cut it. And you can always fix it up later too with a little bit of sandpaper. So now we're gonna construct our shell. We're gonna add our shelving to this structure. And of course, if the cake is flat on the board, you don't need a shelving, you don't need the styrofoam at the bottom. But when you start lifting your cake from the board, then you're going against gravity, and you have to stop this cake from sliding down and squash at the bottom. That's why we constructed this shelving to support the weight of the cake. So anything above 60 degrees, you're gonna need a structure. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of styrofoam at the bottom so my cake doesn't get squashed at the bottom, and then I'm going to add a little shelf on the middle. And with foam core it's super easy. You just work it out what is the halfway on a cake and cut that piece out and add the shelving there. And then you can hot glue at the top. So my shelving is 4.5 centimeters because 0.5 centimeters will be inside the structure, and I measure against the cake to see how long it will be. Now we have to add a lot of glue, and it's very important to put the glue on the side of the structure and on the bottom. And this is very important because you need the shelf to be very strong, very strong. Then we're gonna add the other piece of that we cut it. And of course, because I inserted the shelving there, so I have to take the space out, and that's very simple. You just put a shelf there, a piece of foam core there, and you measure that little space there, and take this out. And then you hot glue that piece on your electrical guitar in your structure. Lots of glue. Again, you compress against the shelving, make sure that it's nice and firm there. You could add another shelving if you want, but I'm just gonna cut a piece of styrofoam, add it there at the bottom, and then I'm going to put a cake board on top of the styrofoam so it's not in contact with my cake. For the hand, we just have to add a spacer there, so I just get my leftover foam core, I cut in little square pieces, and I make sure that the pieces are at the same height as my shelving. So it has to be exactly the same height as my shelving. We're gonna cut the handle too. Look, you could cut the handle twice. I only cut once, and then I insert a wood skewer inside of the foam core. That makes my handle really strong. And after I cut, I like to mark already all the spaces for the strings where my string is gonna be connected. At this point I'm only marking. I didn't hot glue yet because we're still gonna cover with fondant. Clean up all your structure. You can even add contact paper inside the structure if you wanted to protect the structure even more, or if you wanted to protect your cake even more. And there you go, you have your structure ready to work. And look all these shapes that I create. So with all these different templates and designs I have, I ended up creating all these designs, all these shapes, is all exactly the same way to create. So let's put the cake inside, and that is also super easy. But just before I start, I just want to show you one more little trick that I like to use. Just behind the structure, I like to add some little wood skewers on the shelving. It just makes the shelf stronger to support a lot more weight. And let's add our ganache. Ganache at this point is like your concrete. It will keep the cake in position, everything in position, so nothing is gonna be sliding down when you lift this cake. So a lot of ganache is very important. I'm working with a 3x1 Rachel chocolate ganache, and I'm cutting in layers, adding the ganache already outside. I have a 9-inch square cake on the refrigerator, so I'm using that, but you could use something 8-inch would be fine. It all depends on the size of the cake you're making. And your guideline here is your structure, so you can't be higher than your shelvings, and you, of course, you can't go outside of the shape of the guitar. So I'm always, you can see I'm using the shelving as my reference for the height, and then I like to turn my cake upside down. I found this way so much easy. I just turn my cake upside down and I cut around the structure. As simple as that. Then we're gonna ganache, and you ganache very nice and smooth. The aim here is to get this cake super smooth. you don't have a cake scraper, you can use a metal ruler. It works perfect. But like I say, the aiming here is to get everything super smooth. You can even flip the cake a couple of times too. I like to refrigerate between ganaching, and then when it sets really hard, I flip the cake and then I cut all the excess, and you ended up with these really sharp corners. Not that it's necessary for the electrical guitar. It's all about the look you're going, but electrical guitar, it has more curves, but it's up to you. It's all about the look you're going for. So now you have your canvas, and we're going to the fun part, that is decorate. And you can decorate it with any color. Any color you wanted to use it for your electrical guitar. In some cases I even like to cover it white, and then I do all the work in airbrush. But for this specific electric guitar in here that I'm demonstrating, I'm covering in black. And then I'm gonna add all the decorations. So my template is very important in here. That same template that we use to trace the structure, we're gonna use that template to cut all the designs on this guitar. So the more detail you add to the guitar, more realistic it's gonna look. And that's the idea in here, to get close to a very realistic guitar. I cut every single piece of the template you're gonna see. I'm going to cut it separate. And I keep all the pieces because the same template I'm cutting out will show me where to put the pieces. So it's very important to keep everything too. So I cut a white fondant, and I'm tracing the inside first. And then using the template that I just cut that piece, I can put it on the top of my electrical guitar, and I know exactly the position to add the piece. And then I cut the template a little bit more, and I take all the little details that was on electrical guitar, so I know exactly the size, the shape. I use a lot of straws, all different sizes of straws to decorate my little buttons and making screws and little details. So I'm always collecting straws. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life when I don't have straws anymore. And like I said before, the more detail you add to this electrical guitar, the more realistic you will look, and you create the wall. I'm using some beads in here because I love the shine and the sparkle, but you can just pipe. You can just pipe with royal ice in all the details, and then paint with silver. I'm just adding a little bit more bling. And of course you have to tell your client to remove the stones. And don't mind my finger all blue. You will know why my fingers are all blue, because of the other guitars that I create. So as you can see, I'm using the template again, so I know exactly the position where to put the details. And I just spent a lot of hours in here adding more details. Now we're gonna take it out to the fondant where we're gonna hot glue our handle. This is very important because the hot glue doesn't glue on fondant. So you have to take the fondant apart, and we're gonna decorate our handle. I'm just gonna cover with fondant. I'm gonna open the fondant super thin, but just before that I just add a piece of a little foam core there at the top, and the reason is I'm going to use the little piece of foam core to secure my strings in position, so the strings are not out of my handle. But I open the fondant to super thin, number 9 on the pasta machine, because I wanted this to be like super light. And I'm only covering the front too. I'm not covering the back, but you are welcome to cover the back if you want. I prefer not to do that because it's less weight. And I'm gonna cover the other side. I could have covered the same in color, but I decided to cover in black. Same way, I put a tie loose glue. I use a lot of the tie loose glue, and I make my own glue. I just get the tie loose, the CMC, and I add a little bit of water and give a little shake. I like to do it the day before so the glue is nice and thick, and it glues all the pieces to the foam core really well. And then I just make all the marks and all the details. You see, again, I'm using my template all the time. If you see, I'm using the template all the time to do all the marks and to add all the detail. And again, you can just spend as much time you want on that handle. The more detail you add, the more realistic it's gonna look. And in here I add some fondant little lines, and then I paint with silver, because this handle that I was using had 2 colors, black and silver. So I thought I add the fondant and then I paint it silver. I'm going to hot glue now all these skewers in position so they don't move around. So just a little dot of hot glue. And that little bit of hot glue that is coming out, it actually gives a really nice detail, because I ended up painting around the little hot glue that is out, so it looks every part of the detail of the guitar. So just hot gluing everything in position, cut the excess. The little buttons are super easy to do, and in here I'm using every piping tip, because it was the smallest size I could have found. And now it's time to hot glue our handle, and just gonna put a hot glue just on that part there that the foam core is exposed, and I'm going to hot glue, and we're gonna start putting our string. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this cord and I'm going to press through the wood in here, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the handle and come back. So I always use the wood skewers, so it's just a simple wood skewer that is going exactly where the styrofoam is. So my shelf is right there, and these wood skewers is going straight to the styrofoam. So that what is good about this is, even if I put a little bit of pressure on our cord, it will not move inside the cake. So you have the option of the wood skewers, and we just go through the top, come back, and grab the next one, turn around, go to the next one, turn around, go up again, So then we grab the next one, turn around, give a twist, and go to the next one. Go there, give a twist, and come down. So again, we go in here, and try not to put too much pressure, alright? Go in here, come back to the next one. You can put a little bit of hot glue there so the cords stay in position and don't move around. Because you don't want the space of the cords to be too far away. Alright, you see there's a symmetry on the space of the cords there. So then we come with the cord in here. Alright, because of the space I'm trying to keep my eye on the space in here. Now we're going behind in here, do a loop on the next one, and come down. So as you can see here, we grab the next one, go around, grab this one, and see I'm getting a really nice space in here between the cords. Come in here, grab this one, because I'm trying, if I go to the other side I'm going to be too close to that cord. Give a little loop there. This is our last loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 6 cord. And then here I am doing my last loop. Come with the cord and do my last loop. Put a little bit of hot glue there. And that's it, your cords. And then when everything is really glue in position, you can cut a little bit shorter. And you can put some of the bling on the top, or you can just put a piece of fondant there, or you can just simple paint. Look, I can sit in here for hours and I will be adding details and details, and the more you research about, the more details you will find. About the bracket, I just got a simple bracket that has nothing on the middle, and I just bend a little bit. Well, not me, I asked my husband to do that because I couldn't do it. But you can bend it as much you want. I prefer this look, a little bend, because it looks more natural. I'm going to screw at the back. So I usually use a smoother just to help me hold the guitar in position. It's a beautiful guitar, but it is Halloween and it can't just look pretty like that. We need some blood. For this beautiful shine on the guitar, I use chocolate glaze, so you get this really beautiful shine that makes the guitar look a little bit more realistic. Well, I hope you enjoy, and I gave you some really good ideas and a lot of tips and tricks in here for you to create your new guitar. Thank you for watching.